Hello and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton Knave. We've got to episode 30 and it is Mainz 74. We're deep into the live stuff again, and this is March the 30th. This is a particularly good show, I think, from 74. This is a really nice one. Very typical of 74, it's heavier than 73, and I think this is one of the best representations of that. Maybe the very, very late shows were better, but certainly this mid-period, this is probably the best one of those. It is only a day later. It's the next night after what we reviewed last week. Heidelberg, they went straight to Mainz. Just like that album, we're missing the end, unfortunately, so we're missing the last two tracks, which I would guess would be Fracture and Locks 2 without Talking Drum, maybe? Or they didn't do Fracture and it was Talking Drum and Locks 2, I don't know. They actually made a surround sound version of this show on the Starless box, using a bootleg and the soundboard, and sort of mixed them around a bit. Which shows that it's considered a really good show. It's only club number 15, so it's fairly early on. I think this might be where Palmer James visited them. I'm doing that bit from memory, so I'm not sure. He said, that Crossley he's off stage he was subdued and he was removed, but on stage he was killing it, and it's true. There's some fantastic violin stuff on here, and when he's on the mellotron he's just fine. The question is, has the band changed? And I've already said, it's heavier. But is this kind of a different band in a way, in that 73 was transitional, in that they went from just trying to carry on without Jamie Muir to actually being a different band, and that lack of balance from taking Muir away created something different, which isn't really formed until 74. Obviously you have the flying brick wall rhythm section getting bludgeoned by that of the violin and the guitar. Obviously the guitar can hold its own a bit better, but maybe that's the thing, and that frailty and the flying brick wall doing it is a thing. It may have been unpleasant for the players, but as it turned out, created fantastic music. Whether they were completely aware of it at the time is the question. It's possible they weren't, until afterwards they realised how good it was. So great show. I mean, Wenton's voice breaks a little bit in places and things like that, so maybe it's not releasable in that sense, so it's perfect for the Club because it's a killer show, but not perfect, like, say, where in Amsterdam, it's much more safe, if you like. Here they're just killing it. Some of the best improvisations on here in one show since that Night Watch, I think. There's all these shows and they've got good and okay improvisations. This one, they're all really good, and those bits would all be releasable on albums, just as much as Starless and Bob Black or anything like that. The opening track, remember the opening improvisation on the last one was just called Heidelberg 1. This has actually got a name, it's called The Savage, and I can see why. Much more heavier bass in the intro. It's still the droning evil sounds going into Dr. Diamond, but it's a heavier version, if you like. And you hear all the guitar sort of comes in. It's almost like the guitar is trying to balance this brum brum with the frail violin, which is fantastic. In the same way they use instruments in classical music to a foil to something else and a voice of something, and that's what it feels like, but it's improvised. That's what this lineup's all about. Track 2 is Dr. Diamond once again. Maybe this is the best version, I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it's not. Noisier intro, which makes it sound differently from the night before. It gets very intense later on in the song. Maybe the whole band is a flying brick wall at this point. Whereas the previous night it doesn't sound so in your face. And I think maybe it needs that. Track 3 is another improvisation. It's called Arabica. And then you've got evil sounds at the start, and you've got the jangling, Night Watch jangling, but kind of an evil version of that. So that's really cool. That is good enough to go on Starless and Bob Black or Red. It's a good enough improvisation to do that. Really good. Wasn't released at all for many, many years. Track 4 is Exiles again. It's getting heavier with each show at the moment. I think it gets lighter again in the summer, but at the moment they're just really going for it. Cross is brilliant. And again, people talk about Cross being out on a limb and drowned out and not playing very well and everything or whatever. Not happening here. Track 5 is another improvisation, Atria. And it starts with more atmospherics, but with some cool volume control stuff. I think that's what it is. I think it's guitar volume control stuff. But then you get it's almost Ladies of the Road arpeggios, ding, 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 stuff. It sounds like they want to play Dr. Diamond again. That's what it sounds like. They've got this thing that they want to do. Which is really cool. And they can't because they've got to play Night Watch next. But after about 3 minutes it's kind of not going anywhere, sadly. It's enough to keep your attention, but it doesn't fly like Starless and Marble Black after that. So if you did put it on an album, it would be like the first 3 minutes. And I think Bill kind of saves the day in that he starts a rhythm at the end and gives it a proper bash ending. So I think the perfect edit will be sort of the beginning and the end with something else in the middle or something, maybe, I don't know. Whatever. Track 6 is The Night Watch again. It's another version of The Night Watch. Track 7 is Starless. So this is only our second Starless, although they've played it about 10 times by now. And remember, on live, this is before the album version, so it was, violin plays the theme and the solos from guitar and violin. Track 8 is Lament. Now to me that seems like a really strange place to put it in the set, but obviously playing them almost every night they're going to move the set around a bit. But I wouldn't put Lament there. But it was always really good in 74 and it got better as it went along, I think. Track 9 is another improvisation. This improvisation is called Trio. Because actually Trio wasn't technically an improvisation because it was a jam, really, because they had already written that, the bass line progression was already written and they improvised over it, even in Amsterdam. So here they play it again, and why not, because it's great. And maybe, you think about what they've just played, maybe it's that they played it when they were knackered, and the frailty comes out in all the instruments in a way because they're all knackered, and I quite like that, the idea that Bill doesn't do anything. Admirable restraint. I think the Starless and Bubble Black Amsterdam version is better because the planets aligned at that moment when they play that there. And then finally, track 10 is Easy Money. Pretty usual Easy Money. There's 2 tracks missing, like I said, probably Talking Drum and Larks 2, or Fracture and Larks 2 without Talking Drum. And I've just checked, and it is Fracture and Larks 2. There you go. Right, see you next week for Live in Castle.